Hey everybody, I'm going to review Ryfield's s.Pz.Abt 503 Eastern Front 1943. Tiger 1 with full interior. I've been waiting for this one. I think a lot of people have. I did not get a review sample, and I want to real quickly touch on, I think I may have made the company angry with my my previous after action report where I spent 15 minutes calling them Bush League. But whatever, if it got my point across to guys watching the videos, that's all that matters to me. So this is the replacement for Academy's Tiger with interior, I'm hoping forever. Real quickly, the first thing I'll show you is the size of the box is gigantic. Here's their old one. So there's the difference in width. The 503 early Tiger specifically basically just had a very specific turret bin, in case anybody keeps or is wondering why we keep talking about 503. That's what Tiger nuts mean when they say 503 Tigers, is, at least I do anyway, is specifically those. Offhand, little rivet countering nonsense, that sighting vane is already, I noticed, wrong. Looking on the big box. Renders of the interior all put together. Some pictures of other bits of it. You can see all this online. This is nothing we haven't seen. Interesting to me is this paint scheme that they use. I don't ever recall anyone mentioning this before, but I will look into it. So the instructions I'll try to be terse with. It's massive, right? So it is a book. The front is color. We get a sprue map on both of the first two pages. Some color renders of the interior, which anybody who's built the Academy one will notice they have 4 wide ammo right away, so that's good. There are some things missing from this. I've already been following Dave Byrden's research on it on tiger1.info. I will put a link to that in the description so you can read all of the things that David thinks are wrong. And he's always right, and there's always things wrong. But hey, it's a model. More renders, paint again, and then we get to these steps. So this looks very similar to how it was in the last one, except we've got some interior bits there. I have heard that they corrected the length on the barrel, which I complained about in my video. Here we have the breech, and a little bit more than we're used to seeing with Dragon already, and they have the actual correct coaxial MG. So the seats, elevation and traversing wheels, all the same interior stuff that we've seen from Academy, and then some more. This is very cool that they show you a picture of like what it's supposed to look like put together. That's fantastic. The jerry cans that go beneath it, the basket going together, it works very much the same way that Academy's does, 2 halves. And then you sort of like put stuff in there and then put the 2 halves together after that. Again, colored renders, which I dig. Turrets going together. It's got some highlighted red stuff, not sure why that is. The turret roof, putting these ribs in it that I've seen. I think Academy's had that. I haven't actually built theirs. I quit it about halfway through. Turret roof going on. The cupola looks the same as the DAC one. Now that didn't open correctly, so I know there's been some updates made to this, including the smoke launcher brackets I've already checked out, and they look like they have fixed the height. We'll see when they get on there. But I don't think they fixed this cupola. Turret bin. Now we're onto the lower hull. Now this is amazing in my opinion. This I've only ever seen like hardcore crazy people scratch build before. These are like these thin ribs that go over the torsion bars. And it's, again, a color render showing you what it should be looking like. Swing arms going in. Some interior stuff. Again, I'm not going to get into what all of this is. That'd be insane. Seats, engine, transmission. Again, color renders helping you with what it should be looking like. The bow MG, spare ammo stuff, I believe that's what those are. See? Firewall, some floor, lots and lots of stuff. This is insanely more complicated than the previous kit. Here we're getting renders what that should look like. More stuff going in, the fans going in. There's that whole assembly for there. Apparently they don't have the water pipes, which is one of the few things the Dragon does put in theirs, which is very strange. So there's the actual engine. I assume it's the HL210 because it has 3 of these and not 2. I think the 230 had 2 of those. And it's an early, so it should have an HL210 if it's this early. Finally, running gear. You don't normally get to that this late, do you? Sprockets, final drives, wheels. I assume they're going to be workable again, which they are. Again, more putting wheels on. There's the front plate. The tools, there are PE clamp versions and normal versions. 5-volt hoses going on. I assume this might be, it's telling us to cut them off for that specific 503 one, because why is it telling us that? That's weird. Oh, because it wants us to keep these on there, okay. Because certain 503 Tigers took off their 5-volts. Not all of them did, by the way. More assembly. There's upper headlights. Last time we had the DAC ones with the Ryfield kit. And some very specific 503 stuff there. Putting the tracks together there. That's that book. That is a ton of instructions. Holy cow. So let's start with what's in there. We have the same copper tow cables we had with the DAC. We have now a track changing cable in copper as well. We have the PE sheet for the ribbing on the inside above the torsion bars, and the same one that came with the DAC, which has these initial 5-volt filter bits on it. And then we have the decals, which are for a number of 503 Tigers. Still haven't used my Ryfield decals yet, so I don't know how well they work. The first sprue we'll look at is the same that was in the DAC kit. It has 3 mantlets, just the barely innermost interior for the mantlet, the turret ring, the roof for the early, the 3 turret halves, including the 2 with pistol ports and the 1 with escape hatch that we didn't use last time, stowage bin, cupola, barrel, loader's hatches. Again, these are all early mantlets, 2 different very early types, both monocular sights and the reinforced one. There's a ventilator for the inside of the turret, that's the sleeve for the gun. There's your muzzle brake. Turret roof. Loader's hatch bracket. There's the basket, or the stowage bin. This came with the other one and we never used it. It's actually not called for on this kit either. There's the halves of the turret. They are pretty smooth, but apart from that they look good. Next sprue is B sprue. Now this was also in the DAC kit. Hull roof, initial 5-volts, rear plate, front plate, 5-volt hoses, and various hatches and stuff, and some tools. The hull is still smooth up here, but looks pretty good. The welds look alright. You do have to drill out a ton of these holes. I don't know why they don't have any of them. Yeah, I guess it's fine if you choose not to use anything. Rear plate looks pretty good. I'm wondering how much you have to alter this to make it accurate between the DAC and the initial or earlies, whatever you want to call it, these earlies, the 503 ones, because they're pretty early on. Some of them even had initial fenders. So here's the brackets that were quite incorrect in the DAC one. They were just too short this way. And they seem better. I'll have to get them on there to find out. 5-volt hoses still are solid here, which they kind of shouldn't be. Texture seems okay. Tools look decent. This is the shovel I complained about last time. Not sure if you used that one or not. The very good front shovel, which we didn't use last time because DAC Tiger shouldn't have those. Different toolboxes, jack block, eyelets for the tow cables. Everything still looks good. The next is wheels. These will be the exact same ones in the DAC kit as well. They don't have any texture, they're very shiny, but you know, they look good on there. The next is 2 of this sprue, which was also in the DAC kit. Torsion bars, sprockets, wheel with rubber off, idler, and then various small bits, lots of parts for the working running gear. This was a little flashy for me in the last kit. Looks okay. Their sprockets seem a little beefy compared to Dragon's. I'm actually going to use one of their early sprockets on the Kursk Cyber Hobby build I'm doing right now, and it doesn't really fit into the tracks. The Dragon ones do. It's weird. All of these come like this. I don't know why they don't protect it slightly better. That could be a little less smooth, but it's pretty good. S-mine launcher stuff. This. Oh, okay, here we go. This is important. There's the launchers, the smoke mine launchers. There's the filled ones. So here is the hollow ones, and there is Dragon's. Dragon's is still about half as thick. Okay, I think this is the last sprue from the DAC kit. They have cut off the fenders and hull sides, I want to say. Maybe something else. Here we have these intakes for the back, our DAC shrouds, our DAC extensions, the different initial barrel cleaning rods where there's, I think they're differently, where there's 3 and 2. DAC conduit, DAC mud flaps. I'm not sure what we have this for. Probably these or something. So this is our first sprue that we hadn't seen. We have another reinforced mantlet. Normal rear mudguards, but they don't have the hole cut in them. And here's our hull plates, which should have our straight bolts for our fenders. Later fivals, rear hull extension, front ones that are correct, more drive sprockets of a late variety. Front plate, another track changing cable. These look like the conduits for the other headlights. This plate seems okay. It's got 2 holes you'll have to drill for the shovel. So they have more of these. And then here's their shrouds. You got big ejector pin marks right in the back of them. That's no good. There's their 5-volts. That's an interesting way to do that. Dragon used to do that. The mud flaps, though, on earlier ones had a little hole. It's like a square hole cut out of here. I'm confused why that doesn't have that. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure it should. The next sprue we have is interior parts. Ammo stowage, fuel tanks, fans. This is part of the rear engine area. Ribs for the inside, all kinds of stuff, parts of the engine as well. Everything looks at least better than Academy's. I mean, that's the bar we have it set to. Dragon doesn't do this, and I don't know why. Tiger 131, I know they look like this because I've seen them. There's a video on YouTube where they're out of the tank and they have it like this, not the way the Dragon does it. Very crisply molded though. I know there's parts missing from the engine. I've been reading Dave Byrden's write-up, and it won't be perfect, but my god, it looks pretty impressive to me. Then we have this guy. This has our interior turret ring, I think, the basket, the spent shell thing, which up here has ejector pin marks on it. That's dumb. Breech details, lots of inside the turret stuff. That looks really well done. This looks crazy well done. That looks really clean. Looks like the sight. Yes? Part of it, maybe? Don't know. Here's the, there's the pin marks on the inside of that. That's a terrible idea, because if anything you will ever see, it'd be that. So this is K-sprue. Here we have the firewall, the interior of the lower hull, the engine, the transmission, steering wheel, linkages and stuff. Lots more tiny interior. It seems some of it's made the same way Academy's was, but other parts are done differently. There's their firewall. Again, everything's shiny though. That's the way their other kit was too. There's the actual interior part of the final drives. The seat. I believe there's photo etch that goes in the back. These are weird marks though. Their ejector pins are, they look like they've been trimmed off. I mean, everything looks crisp, but this is the 503 sprue, basically. You've got extra jerry cans, a jack, the tools without clamps on them, and this very specific styrene 503 turret bin. So what makes the bin special is this slant here. Maybe the sides of it. This is a very specific box, I believe, that hangs off the rear. There's your shovel without clasps. Here you can see there's the tool with them on, there it is without them. I think that's a command antenna tube. That's cool. Some antennas. Many antennas, but not a star antenna or Sterne antenna, I believe. It's just a little guy, this. Some chunks of an MG34. This was in the DAC kit as well. It is ammo bags and ammo, so I have a ton of these because it was in the first kit, but it looks good. Obviously we need lots of this to fill up the tank, so I'm assuming there's a difference between these, perhaps armor piercing and high explosive. Ammo bags look okay. And we've got clear parts for the inside of the cupola and any periscopes. They seem okay. So the hull tub is the exact same as the DAC Tiger as well. Surface is smooth. Detail seems decent though. The scalloping is on top and the sides. The bump stops pop out really well. The surface is still kind of smooth, but I didn't have any problem with this thing. This is how the tracks are done, so there's a whole box full of these things right here, and here's where your pins and your jig are. The tracks have no ejector pin marks, but 2 sprue gates per. They go together very, very well. There are your separate guide horns and your pins. Here's a set built up that I did for the DAC kit. You can see that they articulate very, very well. And yeah, they take a while to build, but they're amazing looking when they're done. So, you know, it seems to be a deal breaker for a lot of people, but I really, really like them. So not a lot of surprises. It's a ton of sprues, but it's a lot of what we saw in the other kit with just a couple of updated things. I think the barrel's fixed, the brackets for the smoke launchers is fixed. There's a lot of stuff that Dave and the other guys who are building this up already have pointed out that's wrong. That's wrong to them. They're like the severe tiger enthusiasts. I am like, all right, so if Byrden is here, like I'm like here, right? Like on the meter of crazy for tigers, right? So I'll tell you what's reasonable about it. I'm going to do the build up for Armorama, and I plan to do 2 of these. I'm going to do one 503 and then one straight up, just early with the 5s and everything on it. Not right away, but eventually. So I'll use the Armorama one to explore the thing. It's running for about 70 plus shipping, and which is a lot. So I'm not sure if it's worth it or not, but if you're a Tiger Nut, it's definitely better than that Academy kit. Like, I can tell you that already just by looking at it, and I really enjoyed the DAC one. I guess the company didn't enjoy my opinions about it, but in the end, I thought it was a great value for what it was, so I look forward to building this, I really do, and I will let you know what is my opinion on it when I'm done.